when we leave Sharpay in High School Musical 3, she is set to go to U of A and to help Miss Darbus with the theater department. However, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventures, she has taken a gap year, and we do not hear about any of this. No plans to go of U of A. We have not heard about any past tellings of helping Miss Darbus in the theater. So it is so interesting to me because I feel like it's not that, hey, Sharpay could have changed her mind and decided to do something different. It just seems to me that Sharpay, such a determined person, would take a gap year and not have like a plan. I'm curious if anyone else caught on to this as well. It's just like, without hearing what efforts Sharpay has been making in this gap year to forward her career, it just seems like such out of character for her to take a gap year. Like, a gap year makes sense if she was constantly auditioning for things, but that was not what we were seeing at all. We weren't hearing about her creating her own path. We weren't hearing about her auditions. So in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventures, when her dad says, listen, you got to figure out what you're doing, otherwise you're going to come work as a worker at Lava Springs, right? Remember from High School Musical 2? Now, if you forgot what happened in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventures, it is basically a story where Sharpay thought she was getting recruited, so she goes to the city, and then she finds out it was actually her dog Boy who is being recruited for the casting call for this new Broadway play. She eventually gets the mean girl kicked out, and she ends up being the lead of her first Broadway musical. Now, nevertheless, obviously, Sharpay was going to end up on Broadway, and that makes a lot of sense. But it is just interesting to me that we did not really get this motivated Sharpay in her gap year. Like, to me, it's understandable if we would have said, like, she went to all these auditions, which I don't know what auditions were existing in Albuquerque, Arizona at that time. But it just seemed kind of out of character for her to not be consistently pursuing theater performance in some way. She obviously was performing at any of her parents' charity events, but like, to me, she seemed way more determined. So I just thought that was an interesting thing that I just feel like was off about Sharpay's character in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventures, because it's like, okay, totally understandable if you can't find fruitful work that whatever the dad would determine that, right, in that kind of musical space. Yes, you're gonna have to get a job. But we did not even see Sharpay doing anything. And honestly, she seems like she would, like, be girl boss, like, start her own business, figure something out, make her own play. Like, isn't her dad rich? Like, honestly, you would have thought something like that would have happened. Like I said, it does make sense that she ended up on Broadway, but I just think it's funny that they said, like, oh, she's taking a gap year. I go, Sharpay Evans taking a gap year? Like, and not like magically making her own kind of opportunities, which I guess she sort of did in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventures, but nevertheless, I don't think that was the greatest way for her to go about that. It is just an interesting thing to know.